Hello and welcome to Music Monday Moments. We are celebrating all things Broadway today. I have a very special guest with me today. This is Jenna Groom, and I don't know, we may have to bring her on. And another special guest.
Come here. No. Okay.
That is Ginger Kent Groom.
Hi. Oh no.
And she is my Bella G Studio mascot, and AKA Bella Ginge.
She is.
But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how Ginger came into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So Jenna is a freshman at Georgia Southern University, and she's home for whatever, COVID-19.
Yep.
And she just got finished doing
Day by Day.
But I don't like that. That's like my least favorite
It really
song.
is. I like Bless the Lord because that's the song I got to sing.
You want to sing a little bit of Bless the Lord?
right now?
Sure.
Okay.
Just a teeny bit. And maybe do something later. Go.
Okay. He will not always shine. He will with patience wait. His wrath is ever slow to rise and ready to abate. You cute.
Thank you. Beautiful. She did a fantastic, wonderful job. And that song, that musical Godspell, is written by
Stephen Schwartz,
who also wrote
Wicked, and Pippin.
and Pippin. So it's almost a trifecta if you can find a part in Pippin.
Yep, it really is.
Yeah, so we are big Wicked fans. We've seen that a couple of times on Broadway. But what I wanted to talk with you about is you were the lead in Legally Blonde.
I was.
Last year?
2 years ago, I was a junior in high school.
At Paulding County High School. Go Miss Corley. And I wanted to ask you what it was like to be on stage, because you were on stage all the
whole
time.
I was Elle Woods, and I don't think there was a single time where I left stage and did not come back on in a different outfit. Every single exit was a costume change because you really got to showcase your pink when you're Elle Woods. But this was my bruiser. But she was not our dog yet. She was living with a family that loved her but didn't really want to keep her, and so I begged my dad. I used to dog sit her. So I begged my dad, pleaded, can we please keep her? My dad said no at first, but when you bring the dog over to have sleepovers with you every weekend, it's time to keep her. So now she's ours. She's 13. She's the sweetest little girl. She just chills.
So how was it working with her on stage?
Well, she's definitely not made for the stage. She had to be held by someone off stage constantly, or else she'd run on set in the middle of the show. Can't have that. So someone had to always be holding her because she didn't like the kennel, but there were people lined up to hold her, so it wasn't a big deal.
Well, we've got a picture of this. This is Jenna. It says, "Back away, mister. Jenna is all mine." And it's one of my favorites. Can you see?
Clothes. She doesn't like clothes anymore.
So explain this picture, because it is pretty funny.
That's loser. And played Emmett, who's also very talented. He came up to me and she just placed her paw on his stomach, and it looked like she's pushing him away from me. She's sleepy.
Okay, so let me ask you a little bit about Godspell. Godspell's not one of those popular Broadway shows that you hear a lot about. It's been around a long time.
Yes, it has. Not in the same form. It got a major revamp in 2012, so if you saw Godspell before 2012 and then you came to the new one, it would be significantly different.
Have you ever seen the movie Godspell?
No, have not heard the best things about the Godspell movie. So that kind of scared me when I got the part and you called me. I'm her daughter, by the way, in case you didn't know, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, we just
when you called me and you're like, have you seen the movie? Because it's not. But the musical is wonderful, and it only helped that everyone who was cast was supremely talented.
Yeah.
and wonderful.
Yeah. Well, they were going to originally do Jesus Christ Superstar, and then they changed to Godspell. So the particular production that Georgia Southern did, it only had, 12?
12 people.
That was
maybe
it.
13, because I think it was the person who played Jesus plus 12 other people for the 12 disciples.
Okay. Because a lot of Godspell productions that I've seen, they have like an ensemble.
Yes, and if you ever get a chance to look at the script, it says that you can do that. But we were fortunate enough where everyone on stage was such a powerhouse.
So
didn't need anybody else.
So how did you feel about being on stage the whole time? So you didn't have a lot of costume changes?
No, there was one costume change, and it was easy, and we had plenty of time. And then other than that, you're pretty much carrying the whole show. There's no time where you can turn off. You know, in a lot of shows, you can go off stage and kind of drop character for a second and chill, and this was not one of those shows.
Well, I also liked about this particular production is that there was no fourth wall, that you guys did.
We spent a lot of time in the audience.
Okay, so explain what fourth wall is.
So the fourth wall, it's the imaginary fourth wall in the theater, so you've got the two sides in the back. And in most shows, you're pretending like there is a wall there, so you don't interact with the audience, you don't spend any time looking at them, because that kind of breaks the immersion in certain shows. But in some shows, Godspell is one of them, people really use those fourth wall breaks to bring the audience in and make them really pay attention and feel like they're a part of it. And that's huge in Godspell, because it's a show about, you know, Jesus' parables, and not necessarily heavy, like, be a Christian, but it's definitely, here's some things that he said, and they're all wise and wonderful, and really pay attention. So they really utilize those fourth wall breaks to make sure the audience was paying attention.
And it was cute. There was a lot of cute opportunities where they actually worked with the audience.
Oh, it's hugely improv too. Godspell, pretty much every line in the script says, say this, or whatever you want to say there, whatever's relevant. So we got to add a lot of our own personal touches to it.
So, besides Bless the Lord, which was done by Lindsay
Mendez in the new one, who also played Elphaba in Wicked. I don't know how long, but at least once. So that goes to show Stephen Schwartz really picks his favorites.
Yeah, and if you ever get an opportunity, where's that book? Right there. If you ever get an opportunity, this is the Godspell Experience Inside a Transformative Musical by Karen Geary.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful, and a lot of the cast that he used for his first, he actually brought back for a lot of, like, Pippin and Wicked, and also for the
now is a show where you either do it wonderfully or it's terrible. There's not a lot of in between with that show, and we were fortunate enough where I feel like we had a wonderful show.
Okay, so you are a student at Georgia Southern, which is in Statesboro, which is about
4 hours from here.
Yeah, and about an hour outside of Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So you are in the South. So
yes,
how Godspell is based on the parables of Matthew. So how do you think that transformed? I mean, did it make a difference on the campus? It
was mostly theater kids, and it's a really niche. It can be a really niche environment where only the theater kids know what's going on with theater. But we had a lot of students that I saw around campus, just maybe living in my dorm room or going to some of my classes, who came to see it because I was in it and people they knew were in it. It was really easy to market that show in the South because people love Jesus down here. I do too, don't get me wrong. But we had a really good turnout for a lot of the shows, and I think people really enjoyed it.
I thought it was fantastic. So if you ever get an opportunity to see Godspell, it is probably now up there in my top 5 musicals.
Wow, I'm really honored. That's saying a lot. You've seen some good musicals.
Yes, I have. I'm just upset. We're planning on going to see Hamilton in April, but it got postponed. So
sadness.
So hopefully we'll be able to see that. But what I wanted to talk to you about is your voice.
Yes.
So have you taken piano, or have you taken voice lessons in the past?
Not really intensely. I took a few vocal lessons when I was preparing for Miss Georgia the first and second time, because I decided with my range to sing some operatic pieces, which is not what I normally did, so I needed some training to make sure that those really sounded good when they came out. I had the range, but I needed help with mechanics. But outside of that, I haven't really done a lot of lessons.
Okay, so Bless the Lord is a very vocally demanding
Yes.
Song. So how would you prepare for that? How
I did a lot of vocal warm-ups on my own, just backstage before the show for about 5 minutes to really loosen me up, and especially with Godspell, because everyone's singing every song. You don't really get a chance to. And Bless the Lord itself doesn't stop the whole time.
No.
You gotta squeeze those breaths in. So I had to warm up. I just do some scales to myself, some like arpeggios to myself, which are things that I did for Miss Georgia, things that you've taught me, things that I've learned from my choral professors over the years that really helped me loosen up and get ready. A lot of it's a mental thing for me. So if I can hit the note in a warm-up, then I stop and I'm like, okay, it's okay to stop freaking out about it now. I can do it. So that's a lot of it, is I have to think I can hit the note, and then I can. I can even if I don't think I can, but it helps me a lot to believe in myself, really.
Okay, so your degree from college has nothing to do with theater.
Absolutely nothing. While I was doing Godspell, it was biology, and I recently changed it to clinical psychology. So neither one of those has anything to do with theater. There was only one other kid in the cast who was a nursing major, and everyone else was theater, production, film, so they kind of had something to do with it. That made it really hard because no one else had 7-page biology labs due the next day. I did, and they kept us until 11:30. That was fun.
But you had fun.
I did have fun. I had a lot of fun, and I say I'm not going to do it again, but we all know everyone's going to be up there next year to see me.
We'll be sitting here going over her next production that she does. I did want to touch a little bit on your experience with Miss Georgia. We probably would need to do a whole different show about Miss Georgia and pageants and preparing for pageants, because that is something I also do. Performance preparation, and that is also part of what I offer here at Bella G Studio. But I wanted to show them
I know. Believe it or not,
couple of pictures.
These pictures are me.
So this was her as Miss Troup County.
Which, if I can say one thing, don't let the word pageant scare you. The Miss America organization, especially now, is a lot different than what you might see on TV and what you might think. It's done wonders for my social skills, for my interpersonal skills, for my interview skills, for my talent skills, and piano is a very impressive talent at Miss Georgia, and they usually do very, very well. So if you are learning the piano or some sort of other instrument, singing's impressive too, and a lot of people do well with that, but piano, you can't beat it. You really can't.
And then this is her last, where she competed.
Miss Rome.
Miss Rome team. Now, she competed in the outstanding teen division, which is, what age group is that? It's like
13 to 17, something like that. Say Miss Georgia because it's the little sister program to Miss Georgia, and we compete right alongside Miss Georgia, and no one knows what outstanding teen is.
So, what is the possibility of you ever getting back involved in Miss Georgia?
Well, I would love to, if I could find the time. I think next year might be a good year to try again. I might. It's just I'm kind of secluded in Statesboro, so if I'm not Miss Georgia Southern's Miss Georgia Southern, then I don't know what else I could be. But I'm certainly going to look around because it's worth it to me, and it takes up a lot of time, but you do some really good things and some really good volunteer opportunities, and you learn a lot about yourself.
Well, thank you.